When you talk about underrated gems, a few things come to mind. Yorkshire puddings with baked beans inside topped with cheese, also known as the best dinner in the universe, Jack the Jobber's accent work, and of course, WrestleMania 19. Despite being loaded with fantastic matches, Rock, Austin 3, Jericho, Michaels, Angle, Lesnar, even Hogan McMahon, a fight between a sofa and a cow taught to walk upright, had its brilliant moments, yet somehow it's never really been regarded as on the same level as Mania X7 or 10 or 30, which is a shame because it's a stone cold classic, fitting seeing as it was home to Steve Austin's last ever match. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 fascinating facts about WrestleMania 19. Number 10, a battle rap with John Cena was cancelled after the rapper was arrested. Young Johnny Cena, making his first and probably last appearance on these lists, his career really floundered after this. He'd found his voice spitting peng bars. I looked that up on Urban Dictionary. To showcase the gimmick to a larger audience, Cena was set to take part in a battle rap at Mania with Can't Deny It singer Fabulous, Fabolous. However, the rapper found himself in hot water after several arrests in early 2003 for alleged possession of an unlicensed handgun. The most recent arrest took place within weeks of WrestleMania 19, and Fabulous's appearance at the event was cancelled. Instead of taking part in a freestyle volley, Cena mocked cardboard cutouts of both Fabulous and Jay-Z on the Sunday Night Heat pre-show. Number 9, William Regal was pulled from the tag team title match with a life-threatening illness. One of the planned bouts for the show was a Raw tag team title match pitting champs William Regal and Lance Storm against the original odd couple of Rob Van Dam and Kane. One likes fire, one likes weed, however will they get along? By the time Mania season was getting into full swing, however, Regal was dealing with a very serious parasite that affected his heart and intestines. The illness, which Regal apparently contracted during a brief tour of India in November 2002, would put him out of action for more than 1 year. To fill Regal's spot, Eric Bischoff's corrupt assistant, Chief Morley, aka Val Venus, partnered up with Storm to defend the belts, but alas, the match was moved to the Sunday Night Heat pre-show, while the Miller Lite catfight girls pillow fight remained on the main card because tits, I guess. Number 8, Matt Hardy's win was the first for either Hardy at WrestleMania. When Matt and Jeff Hardy burst onto the WWE scene in the mid-90s, they were undersized jobbers. Even after the brothers became megastars with a rabid fan base thanks to doing incredible things with ladders and taking their shirts off, they still couldn't buy a win at the show of shows. It took 5 years for either Hardy to score a Mania victory. In WrestleMania 19's opener, Hardy scored a minor upset when he retained the Cruiserweight gold over the highly popular Rey Mysterio. It was the first of 2 victories for Matt on the biggest stage, while Jeff, to date, has still yet to win at all at the granddaddy of them all. Number 7, Nathan Jones was pulled from his match for being far too green. The Australian monster Nathan Jones clearly had the kind of look that would cause Vince McMahon to need new bedsheets and was lured away from World Wrestling All-Stars in late 2002. The only problem was, his in-ring skill could best be described as turd syphilis. When Jones was paired with The Undertaker for a WrestleMania match against Big Show and A-Train, the quartet apparently practiced for a week in a ring at Undertaker's home, and they still couldn't get Jones to the point of being presentable. Instead, they did an injury angle on the pre-show to remove Jones from the bout, turning it into a handicap match where Jones got to throw 2 kicks as part of the finish. Number 6, Shawn Michaels was hesitant about working Mania. When HBK returned in 2002, it wasn't intended to be a long-term deal. A one-and-done match at SummerSlam turned into one last title run before dropping it to Triple H in December 2002, and there seemed to be no further plans for the Heartbreak Kid at that point. After an electric segment between the two, Chris Jericho broached the idea of a WrestleMania match between the two of them, but Michaels admitted he wasn't sure how much longer he was going to be around. The brief comeback had showcased Michaels at his finest, and he didn't want to push his luck. With further convincing from Jericho, the two wrestled an utter barnstormer, so much so that when an unnamed staffer told Michaels after the match that they had gone too long, he said, "When you have a match as good as that, you can go as long as you want." Number 5, Roddy Piper was brought back in spite of a controversial interview. Piper's ignominious 2003 run with WWE is probably best forgotten, as it was a major low point in the career of one of wrestling's most storied icons. When the Hot Rod ran surprise interference for Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan's bafflingly good bloodbath, he was in a dark place in his life, lamenting the loss of so many of his brothers in tights in recent years. In fact, prior to being brought back, Piper had recorded an interview for HBO Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, openly discussing the deadly drug culture of the business, the callousness of wrestling promoters, and even saying he doubted he would live to age 65. He was right about that, by the way, dying in 2015, age 61. The interview didn't air until June 2003, and Piper was released from the company in conjunction with its broadcast. Despite Bruce Pritchard claiming that Piper told him and McMahon about the interview before his rehiring, the grimness of the interview led to WWE severing ties with him anyway. Number 4, Stone Cold was hospitalized the night before. It was a bittersweet night for Stone Cold Steve Austin. He knew going into his bout with The Rock that it was probably his last ever match, and even had the letters OMR, short for one more round, stitched onto his vest as a bit of symbolism. While Austin's neck injuries were the primary reason for his in-ring retirement, he had an altogether different medical crisis in the previous day. He'd loaded up on coffee and energy drinks to the point where his heart rate had dangerously increased. On Saturday afternoon, Austin stepped off the elevator at his hotel and legitimately believed he was having a heart attack. After staying overnight in hospital, the elevated heart rate was diagnosed as a freak occurrence. He was released on Sunday morning, hours before his excellent curtain call with The Rock. Number 3, The Rock defeated Brock Lesnar 2 weeks before WrestleMania. It was pretty much a given that Lesnar would be defeating an injured Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship come WrestleMania 19. Before that match would come to pass, Lesnar would tangle with The Rock on a Saturday night house show in Miami on March 15th, 2 weeks before the show. Lesnar was under the assumption that he would be going over in order to keep him strong for Angle, but 90 minutes before their untelevised match, Rock nervously informed Lesnar that he would be beating him clean. This was because it was Rock's hometown. Now, Lesnar said he had no problem losing, but took offense to Rock knowing the finish long before he did and being kept out of the loop. Lesnar felt that his being left in the dark was Vince screwing with him from afar. That is a terrifying image, and although he wouldn't leave WWE for another year, he said this incident soured him on the company and planted the seed for his eventual departure. Number 2, Kurt Angle claims Vince tried to talk him out of wrestling. Kurt Angle won Olympic gold with a broken freaking neck, so it's no surprise that the wrestling machine felt inclined to defend the WWE Championship with the same condition. Already working with various spinal issues, Angle exacerbated those pains 1 month before WrestleMania and was in dire need of surgery. There was talk of altering the WrestleMania main event and having Angle lose the belt to Lesnar in 30 seconds on TV weeks beforehand. Angle claimed in a 2015 interview that while at one point he was going to go along with that plan, he later insisted on doing the match because of his neighbor's son, a child with Down syndrome who was excited to see Angle wrestle. Angle, like a true Olympic hero, worked the hard-hitting match and then underwent unconventional spine surgery, reducing his recovery time from 1 year to 3 months. Legend. And number 1, the shooting star press spot was suggested to Brock Lesnar that very day. Considering all of Kurt's neck problems going in, it would take a lot for Lesnar to come out of the WWE Championship match in worse shape than him. But Lesnar is the walking embodiment of the words "a lot." John Laurinaitis was the agent for the Angle-Lesnar showdown and made the suggestion during Mania Day lunch that he win with a shooting star press, a move he'd only previously done in Ohio Valley Wrestling. Lesnar set about practicing the move that afternoon in the official WrestleMania ring with the aid of crash mats and found it simple enough. Of course, it wasn't that simple during the actual match when an exhausted Lesnar under-rotated and nearly broke his neck on the landing. He then finished the match and won the championship because he's Brock Lesnar and you, your whole day. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here, and you can also follow Justin Henry, the guy who writes these articles, here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.
We're never going to stop doing magazines called wrestling. It's time for issue 4, the first magazine of 2017. And to celebrate, we're looking back on the wrestling year that was, including end-of-year awards for best and worst matches of 2016, best and worst wrestlers of 2016, best and worst feud, and many more. Also, a gigantic career retrospective on AJ Styles, Dixie Carter's crimes against wrestling, and how WWE should have booked the road to WrestleMania 2016, written by this sexual Catherine Wheel. As ever, the magazine is available now to order at shop.whatculture.com. For the love of God, buy it.